People believe in Santa Claus. They believe in reindeer. They believe in bunny rabbits during the Easter holidays. They believe in all kinds of things. They believe in Halloween, jack-o'-lanterns. They believe in Thanksgiving. But they do not believe in UFOs. They still call UFOs unidentified flying objects. But we know, us believers in the Bible speaks about angels. It also speaks about angels in chariots. When you read Zechariah chapter 5, Zechariah chapter 6, and even Ezekiel chapter 1. All of these things are real. Or else you wouldn't see places like NASA building buildings all over the United States and about certain islands that's not even on maps to their interest, so they can see the stars. There's more than just going into the stars. It's about setting up shop in outer space. Now, I'm going to show you some videos, and I'm going to show you some disarming, actually some pretty bad videos concerning what NASA's doing to living organisms that are out in space. And like I said before, those living organisms are the Most High's angels. They watch over the people on the earth called the Israelites. So what we're going to do is go through this channel and show you some things and some documentation from the 1980s to the 1990s, and show you that these things that you see on video are actually taking place. There is a war in space as well as a war here. Remember, all things were created. When you read Colossians chapter 1 verse 17, 16 through 17 and 18, things that were created in the visible and also things created in the invisible. Okay? And Esau knows this. Esau knows that there's certain lenses that you could use to see into different realms. Like infrared can see heat. Okay? You have different magnetic realms. You have all kinds of things that Esau's tampering with now. And what you fail to realize, he's even tweaking your TV so he can see you through your TV. These pixels, the closer these pixels get, the bigger it is for him to have a mirror to see through your TV and look at you while you're sitting down watching some entertainment. This may sound disalarming to you, but this stuff is real. You may say this is foolish, but you better wake up, because this stuff is coming to you real soon. They got it in your movies, they got it in your songs, they even have it in some books, but this stuff is real. They call it classified. Okay, so we're about to go into it.
Many TV stations have actually broadcast. The cameraman who's operating the space shuttle camera is fully aware that the first object has held...
High above the earth, grouped together with no explanation. These clips show what's being described as swarms of UFOs. Earlier this year in Seoul in South Korea, a crowd gathers to stare up beyond the skyscrapers into the sky. A group of objects hover above the centre of the city for a few seconds, then they disappear. In Mexico 3 years earlier, a very similar sight. Clearer this time, the group of white objects are baffling the people below.
Mira las esferas. Son un chorro. Aquí arriba. ¿Ya las viste? Qué maravilla, ¿verdad?
Zooming in still closer, we find that there are even smaller groupings. Over New York City last year, what looks at first like the vapour trails of aeroplanes. But closer inspection reveals there are dozens of apparent objects, seemingly arranged in some sort of formation. Just before the footage comes to an end, one of the objects appears to come much closer.
What I'm going to do first is go to Christopher Columbus, and you can pull this up yourself. This is called UFO evidence. Scientific study of UFO phenomenon with the search for extraterrestrial life. That's what NASA's doing. Okay. So let's read together. Christopher Columbus UFO sighting in 1492. And we got a full report here as we scroll down. And this is the source. The Life and Voyages of Christopher Columbus from The Life and Voyages of Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus and Pedro Gutierrez, while on the deck of Santa Maria, observed a light glimmering at a great distance. It vanished and reappeared several times during the night, moving up and down in sudden and passing gleams. Alright, this is just a synopsis. It was sighted 4 hours before land was sighted, and taken by Columbus as a sign they would soon come to the land. Now the thing about UFOs, or the Most High's chariots, you have to understand this. They normally show up during great times in history. Okay, Christopher Columbus was about to discover America, so-called place called America, but he didn't really discover it. But this was the first time a so-called Caucasian, a Edomite, landed upon the soil of their so-called Newfoundland, when people were already there. The 10 tribes of Israel were already in the Americas, which the Bible calls our Sareth. Okay? But prior to them going there, the Most High had a chariot hovering over them. Okay? So whether you want to believe it or not, this happened. Now, on the ships that Christopher Columbus was sailing on, he had scribes. And these scribes were documenting everything. And this is one of the things that they got. Let's read on. From the water, UFO net site, even Christopher Columbus, it appears, saw a UFO while patrolling the deck of Santa Maria at about 10 o'clock p.m. on October 11th, 1492. Columbus thought he saw a light glimmering at a great distance. Okay. He hurriedly summoned Pedro Gutierrez, a gentleman of the king's bedchamber, who also saw the light. After a short time, it vanished, only to reappear several times during the night. Now, there was no airplanes flying around back then. Okay, so they saw something. In the night, things just didn't move. All right. It says, each time dancing up and down in sudden and passing gleams. The light first seen 4 hours before land was sighted was never explained. All right, so these are the things that happen. Now let's get another witness. And this is the same thing. We're going to scroll down to 329 BC. Alexander the Great, or the Greek, or the Creep, records 2 great flying shields. Okay, date 329 BC. Alexander the Great records 2 great silver shields spitting fire around the rims in the sky that dived reportedly at his army as they were attempting a river crossing. The action so panicked his elephants, horses, and men that they had to abandon the river crossing until the following day. So this was a epiphany of Alexander the Greek taking over the lands of Asia and Jerusalem and parts of Africa. Okay, so these chariots showed up again. These so-called UFOs showed up again. Whenever something great is about to happen on the earth, the Most High sends his chariots down here. It's almost like leaving an insignia, a message on the globe. Ezekiel saw the same thing. This is that died repeatedly at his army as they were attempting a river cross. So he's repeating himself. We just read this. So it goes into more things here. And you can pull it up yourself and read about it. But here you got 2 different situations where Alexander the Greek saw these chariots or UFOs. And then you got Christopher Columbus. Okay. Okay, so I'm about to show you another clip. This is on, he calls himself Prophet Yahweh. Alright, but anyone who calls himself Yahweh is bugged out. There's only one that's the Most High. You call his name by that. Now, calling yourself a seer, all that means is a prophet. When you go into the book of Samuel or the book of Chronicles, the seers were the prophets. They could see what the Most High wanted to be spoken to the people. So whenever you hear seer, that means prophet. Okay, so now I'm gonna show this clip to you. Now this brother was able to contact or summon a chariot, or what Esau calls an orb, okay, or a UFO. He was able to summon it. Now this is not nothing new. The Israelites been doing this for a long time. Okay, it's just that this brother did it on the news. There was another brother that did it on the news down in LA. Brother Taiwan, he did the same thing. Chariot came out of the sky while he was talking to a newscaster and was hovering right over a doggone palm tree. Okay, so I mean, this stuff is not unusual. It happens to Israelites. Okay, if you're sincere and you say the right prayer, the Most High will show up on the scene. That's the way it works. But the only thing is, don't be vain about it. Don't do it just to show off. Most High ain't gonna answer you. All right. Remember what Yahweh said when he was being tested by Satan, right? He says, "Thou shalt not test the Most High thy power." So you have to be very careful when you're doing this. But like I said, going back, this brother right here is about to do this. It happened on the news, and he is our brother. He is an Israelite. However, some of his doctrines are off. Okay, I'll leave it at that. But he is our brother. So I'll go ahead and show this on the YouTube.
That's right, and there is a Las Vegas guy making an extraordinary claim about extraterrestrials. So we sent Action News reporter Mike Delastrito to check it out. Mike?
All right, guys, just listen up here. This guy says the Old Testament, written in Hebrew, taught him how to summon UFOs. All right, he says he can also do this on command, and he adds he's been doing it for 25 years, keeping all of it secret until now.
These beings are here. They are here. They're just sitting right up there.
We met up with Prophet Yahweh, seer of Yahweh, at Doolittle Park off Lake Mead. We picked the day, we picked the time, and we picked the location.
Everyone's going to think you're absolutely nuts.
Well, I thought I was absolutely nuts.
Until he says he saw UFOs. Over the years, 1,500 of them.
Can we make it 1,501 today? What do you think?
I'll try it.
He says the voice in his head told him to go public now. So we took him up on his offer, and we scanned the skies. Nothing but a few clouds. When the prophet started praying for a sighting, I wasn't exactly convinced.
I pray, oh Yahweh, that you send a sighting so that they know that I am not mentally ill. I am not a false prophet, like those who seek to kill me say I am.
I think something straight up.
Oh, brother, look at it. There it is.
You can barely see it, a white speck. Then another sighting.
There it is. I got it.
Photojournalist Jonathan Hawkins locks in on it. Let's take a closer look here. It's an orange sphere that appeared out of nowhere. I call the boss with an unexpected change in my story.
I can see it clear as day. In fact, it's bright.
I can't believe this.
It's moving pretty fast.
It's going to Nellis Air Force Base. It wants to be seen.
We called Nellis to see what these things might be. Guess what? They didn't call us back. But this thing started coming back toward us.
It's coming toward us now, I think.
What?
See, it's coming up toward us.
Whoa, man! Oh, hallelujah!
Then, a few seconds later, it disappeared.
It's going back up in space.
Prophet Yahweh isn't concerned. He says it'll be back.
And I'm still not quite sure what those things were. Now, if I didn't see this for myself, I probably would have just laughed this whole thing off. Prophet Yahweh says, though, this is just the beginning. He says we're going to see a lot more of these things starting next week. And he says one will come down low enough for all of Las Vegas to see. Mike Delastrito, Channel 13 Action News.
Interesting. You know what? If anybody knows what that was, please call Mike Delastrito and identify. If anybody knows what that was, please call Mike Delastrito and identify that object.
So, Jerry, do you mind if we play the X-Files theme song while you do what?
Yeah, really.
I think I can handle it.
Yeah.
No comment on that. Let's, from a scientific point of view, let's go right to early warning desert Doppler. And, you know, that's not the best for picking up UFOs, but I'll tell you, it's pretty good for thunderstorms, all kinds of wacky convective activities in the air.
Okay, you guys ain't got a clue what's going on out there in space. There is a war in space. And this is a book that was written by Nigel Flynn. I'm going to take you to this page in this book. And we're going to go to page 59. And what you see right here is the same thing that you just saw being shot in outer space. Okay, let's go up top and read. It says, a lower beam fired from USAF facility of Maui, Hawaii, streaks across the night sky in October. In an October of 1985 SDI test. So they were doing this way in 1985. Okay, see that laser? It's coming from the ground. Now they have ground aerial strikes, and they also have aerial strikes from above. Let's go over here. Now this page 61. Let's just look at this. This is the chemical laser gunship. Who ever heard of that? Why don't they talk about this stuff? Huh? All you hear is ICBM missiles, but look at what this thing is doing. It's taking out ICBM missiles. Now this is what Ronald Reagan was pushing when he was talking about building a Star Wars satellite. It's more than just satellite. They have thousands of these up in space. Chemical laser gunships. Here's another one. Orbiting electromagnetic railgun. Okay, what this does is break up every particle in that ICBM missile. As you can see, these are lasers. So what you just saw on that video, where a laser came out of thin air and almost took out one of the Most High's chariots, which the world calls UFOs, those are nothing but angels. And this man is trying to take these angels out. Here's another one. This is coming from it's coming from the ground. See that? Here's another one. This is all this man talks about. And he got it recorded in his books. It's just that you people don't read. Alright. Now this is one called particle beam weapons. Let's jump down. It says particle beams are streams of atoms or subatomic particles which, when accelerated under laboratory conditions, are capable of reaching nearly the speed of light. Such speeds would, some scientists claim, require massive machines 2 miles long and 4 miles wide. So they're building this stuff out in the desert. Okay? All the stuff is being built out in the desert. 1,000 tons of machinery. It says, if not, thousands of these machines would have to be lifted into orbit if they were to provide a viable defense against nuclear missile attacks. So they're thinking about doing that. If not, have already done it. This was over 20-some years ago, 30 years ago. All right, let's look at this one. Now, this is the electromagnetic railguns at the University of Texas Center for Electromechanics. Scientists working on a prototype electromagnetic railgun were reported in the spring of 1985 to have fired a minute 1/100th of a gram ball of metallic plasma to a velocity of 131,233 feet per second. You know how fast that is? You can't even see it. It's so fast. You can't even blink your eyes that fast. Alright. This is funded by the Armament Research Development Center of Dover, New Jersey, to the tune of $800. Oh, if this stuff isn't real, why are they building it? Why are they spending this kind of money if UFOs ain't real? You think they're really building this stuff for ICBM missiles? Come on, y'all gotta think. This is bigger than what you could possibly even understand. This is the ultimate aim of the 2-year project is to achieve a velocity of 164,000 feet per second. Alright. This is by the end of 1985, another weapon will be tested capable of firing 10 2.8 ounces 80-gram shells in 1/6 of a second at a speed of 6,500 feet per second. You can't even run and cut your light off faster than that. Alright. So that's what this is. They got thousands of these already built. NASA is busy. Alright. So is the military. They're busy. Yeah, there's no wars, but this is why. They're busy building. Alright. We're talking about Edom here. Let's go to page 83. You people, man. Man. That's why I sit there and we be dealing with bird-brained brothers out there that don't know nothing. All they can see is what's in front of their face. This stuff is going on right around us every day. Look at that. That's infrared beams. Okay? They can look at you walking, picking your nose while you're walking down the street using that infrared beam. Let's go up here. It says, 2. The production of a system capable of handling the complex task of tracking and discriminating between real targets and decoys and assigning defensive weapons to them. This is what they were having problems with in Iran. They knew that they had some place where they were making chemical weapons to build bombs. They knew that. They kept hitting the decoys, but they knew from their machines. They couldn't say, well, we used our machines to find out where it is, but they knew. They know what they have over there based on this machine right here. Alright, they can't give up all the information. It says this will include interpreting and responding to information relayed by sensors reporting on the range and velocity and maneuverability of the targets, the aiming, firing, and damage evaluation of the defense, and the reassignment of the weapon systems to other targets. So that's what this is for. And you know, if you look at the earth, man in other countries, they're trying to build these nuclear stations and they're trying to put them underground like Russia used to do. Alright? But these machines are capable of looking right up under all of them. And the name of this book is called Space Warfare. Okay? Space Warfare. And on page 62, and it says, The diagram emphasizes the critical quick kill factor, which is basic to defense against such fast-moving targets as ballistic missiles. Above right, the illustration relates the intensity and quickness of focused energy weapons to their overall defensive effectiveness. Excuse me, this is weapon effectiveness number of kills per battle station is determined by number of bullets per battle station and the speed with which they get to the target. As you can see, those are the chemical rockets. Laser beam is coming out from the side. Alright, that laser beam is taking out many missiles. See that? So this man is serious about this stuff. Alright? So don't be asleep. Y'all need to wake up. Alright? Esau is moving full speed ahead with this technology. Why do you think he got so many techies now coming out? There's so many techies. You go to San Jose, you go to San Francisco, you go to India, you go to Jersey. You got the techie industry taking off. Look at this. Beam weapons. This is what they're working on now. Not just ICBM missiles, but beam weapons. Alright? Look at that. And this whole book is full of this stuff. Alright? Esau puts this stuff in books. You just gotta read and find it. So UFOs are real. The Most High's chariots, they come by the thousands upon thousands. And they're watching all of the Israelites who are on this earth, what they do on a day-to-day basis. So this is a UFO that was over Mount Rainier. This is in Oregon. I've been to Mount Rainier, and that mountain is no joke. Alright, let me show you when the UFO crashes. There was a team assembled, and just to show you that this stuff does happen, I'm going to read it. And this is out of the book of, some of you have heard of this book. It's called Behold a Pale Horse, and William Cooper is the author. William Cooper was found dead here in California, up by Napa, not too long ago. Alright, but this is page 398. The crash site was also something quite different. The disturbed soil was about 100 feet in diameter, although the craft was much larger in length. I only saw what appeared to be about 2/3 of the rear end, and even that was about 10 feet below the surface. When it crashed on about a 30-degree angle and pushed all the earth back away from the craft itself, almost as if the hole were made first and then something half the size was put in place. So it had a force field. When the force field hit it, it just smashed itself. It says if it was a craft from a foreign government, then we are in big trouble. It is a craft from a foreign government, the government of the Most High. It says I actually held one small portion of the wreck in my hand. Incidentally, there was only a very small reading of radio waves in the area. The area was quite safe. There was, on the other hand, a great deal of free magnet energy in that area. It was very difficult using our instruments. It was very difficult just to establish the correct time. Every wristwatch was a different time. So that's how strong the magnetic beam was. When they all went to that area, all their watches rearranged itself to different times. All right. This is the piece of physical evidence that I held in my hand was a material that I really can't identify. It may have been torn from the front of the craft when it crashed. A few of us compared thoughts as to what it might be, but no one was really certain. None of us had ever seen anything like it before. It was about 1 square foot and about an inch thick. It weighed almost nothing. And one had the feeling that it may blow away if you let go of it and the wind increased. So this thing that this man was holding, that was a piece of the ship, it was very strong but very thin, almost light enough to blow away, is what he's saying. So that's some crazy material. It's a heavenly material. Okay? It was the same color and texture of the large portion. So it was safe to assume that it was part of the shell of the craft. It weighed nowhere near enough to be any metal that we had ever seen. It even weighed less than my plastic that I had seen on a similar size. I tried to scratch it with a pocket knife and even cut away a small piece of the edge, but the knife did nothing to it. The surface was clear as glass and stronger than anything we had ever seen. It was like trying to scratch the surface of glass with a feather. Of course, we had to turn it into the security people. And this is when they were debriefed and taken away, but they don't even know where it was taken to. But this was a classified, so I guess it was then classified. It ain't classified no more. But looks like this happened on June 13th, 1987, when he wrote this. So, I mean, you have testimonies of this stuff that happened, but no one speaks about it, you know. And why did the chariot crash? Well, who knows? The Most High might be allowing them to do it. You remember the movie Independence Day?
Strengthen our planet. But it won't be enough. I see them. They're coming back. Today you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday. We will not vanish without a fight. Fall back! We're going to live on.
They kind of let them have a ship just so they can have some competition. Most High could be doing the same thing. When he sent his son back on the earth, Hamashiach Yahweh, he's coming with thousands and thousands of his angels. And they want to fight. They don't want somebody not to be able to fight them. They want a competition. So that might be the very reason why they allowed the ship to crash. There was another one that crashed, but it looked like it got away because as you read on in this book, there was 2 sites. One was in Texas too. And that site, they said that the ship crashed and took off. So, you know, these are some powerful ships. People just don't understand that the Most High allows all this stuff to happen. It just lets you know that we're close. But when you look at the plasma beams and you look at the beam laser or the laser beams that they have, their whole mission is to kill the Son of the Most High, Mashiach Yahushua. They know that he left here in a body. So if he left here in a body, they know he is returning in that same body. And they want to kill him being in that body. Okay? So we have to understand the thought pattern of the wicked. They want to be God on the earth. They don't want nobody else bringing their kingdom on the earth. They want to live forever. They want to keep the Israelites in bondage. That's the whole point. Okay? So with that, I'm going to say Shalom. And Israel, y'all need to wake up and believe that there are UFOs that are considered to be IFOs. They're identified by the Israelites. They're angels of the Most High. All right? Shalom.